Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Sorry about that delay there, but welcome into the channel. My name is Tanya or Titanium Built, and it's good to see you guys this evening. Whether you're new or you're returning Titan, welcome in. Welcome back for another live. Feels like it's been a while since I've seen you guys, and it hasn't. It's been a day. I think it's because I didn't do a live yesterday, like during the day. But we got Cheryl in here. We got Mary Beth. Thanks for coming in, helping out with the crowd. She's the best. She's the best. Hey, Catherine. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Stephanie. Cat's Life. Oh, Cat's Life's here early. If I miss you, I'm sorry. Is it Mickey? Hey, Mickey. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, Ladybug. Yankees are leading 5-0 tonight. Wow. Isn't it World Series? So they may be the winners. They may take it. They may take it. I actually I went to Yankee Stadium back in 2000. It was crazy. I had not been. I was born in a big city, Philadelphia, but we didn't live there long, so I didn't really know. Like we would go back and stuff, but we would go back and we would go to like Allentown or something. So it was like outside of Philadelphia. So I never really experienced a big town. And when we went to New York, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is huge. Hey, boo boo. I actually had a video of me saying, like, what are those over there? And I was talking about the Twin Towers. I didn't know what they were at the time. You sure can, Pooh Bear, if you'd like to. Yeah, come on in. Hey, Dreamcatcher. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to get down to the bottom here, reversed images. Hello to all my beautiful friends. And I promise by this weekend I'll have a Discord up and made. I'll promise. If I gotta Google it myself, or I'll just if I don't have it up by this weekend, what we'll do is we will just do a live, and you all will show me how to do to make sure I'm putting you in a good group, you guys in a good group. But welcome on in, everybody. Hey, Sirius. Reversed images is in here. Oh, you're okay with the caps. That's okay. We let people do that here. Like Dreamcatcher, she does caps a lot. I think it's because she can't see very well. But let me know, Dreamcatcher, if I got that wrong. When I first came to the platform, I was going to use caps because of my vision, and I think I did it in one chat. I want to say it was Zav Girl because it was back when the Kylie Rodney case, and they like ripped my head off, and I was like, "Ooh," I didn't realize. I was like, "I'm not screaming at anybody. I'm just talking." In my opinion, I'm petty AF. No way he's guilty. Uh, my brain's going either way. Like it goes back and forth, back and forth. I hate this trial. I wish that we weren't relying on people's notes because you can only write so fast. I mean, really, and they're trying really hard. People that are going to the trial and then they're coming out and they're trying to, do the podcast and stuff like that. They're trying so hard to make sure that we get some facts, but it's just been crazy. I'm getting better. Mary Beth gives me 10 warnings for your life. Oh, thank you. I got it at Target. It's Lifter Gloss. It's by Maybelline. Huh. It says hyaluronic acid in there. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. Your girl could use some of that. Oh, did you get an ad, Ladybug? Let me know if you did. Because you shouldn't have got one yet. Yeah, actually, when I go to my other channel, I get an ad right away. I'm like, because I don't have my premium set up on this tablet. This is like technically like Vincent's tablet. Mine's in my in the bedroom, but yeah, I was like an ad already. Sometimes I'll let like YouTube place them, and I probably shouldn't have pressed that button. Thank you, Mary Beth. I love this color green. It's like a emerald green. Let me see if I can do anything. Like, if I can do anything for, like, I know I can, but I don't know how. Let's see. Edit. Um, okay. We'll see if that's any better. If it's not, we'll go down to the lowest. I have premium, no ads. I know I do too, Linda. I couldn't live without premium. I just couldn't. I couldn't deal with life. But I guess the ads are what kind of gives us money, you know what I mean? Because we get, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Maybe you all need to not have premium. No one gets premium anymore. Just kidding. Before we get into tonight's live, I would like to tell everybody that I did get my walking pad. I've been walking like a walking machine today ever since I got it out of a box. Vincent was like, "You gonna?" I was like, "Are you gonna box this?" I was like, "Can I?" It's okay. It was pretty heavy, so, but yeah, I love it. I love that. I'm gonna be able to walk during like it trials, things of that nature. You know, when we are watching like really long things, and it gets kind of like your brain gets a little restless. I've got the walking pad now, so I'm going to be walking on here all the time. But I'm not walking right now. I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down. But we are going to go over the Delphi murders tonight. Abby and Libby, of course. There's a lot of new information's coming out every single day, basically. Every single day. But before we get into all of that, I just want to thank everybody for being here. I know that you guys could be anywhere else, but you're here with me. If you guys wouldn't mind becoming a channel member, we'd love to have you. I'm trying to gain some more members for the channel over here. And plus it's just this month I'm trying to set a goal. So go for myself. But I will be running in-store sales at my store also all month long, starting this weekend. So make sure you keep a lookout for that, and I'll let you guys know during the live. So we'll be doing sales on like summer clearance and winter stuff. So there you go. Just wanted to let you guys know all that. But Richard Allen's confessions have been the focus for testimony this week in the Delphi murder trial. One of the prosecutors have noted that Allen had confessed 61 times. The former warden of the Westerville Correction Facility testified that Allen wrote him a note in 2023, and it read, "I am ready to officially I'm going to read just like it says. I am ready to officially confess killing Abby and Libby. I hope I get the opportunity to tell the families I'm sorry." But then today, so all of these confessions, a lot of people were saying were made under duress, were made to these corrections officers. They can't be trusted, was made to his wife, but it was, in frustration or whatever, that excuse was, because he did confess to his wife with the iPad and then he threw it and broke it. What was I going to say? My mind is on blank. Oh, all the times that he confessed, this time that he confessed kind of put more weight to it because it was from a clinical psychologist. So, and this person examined Richard Allen. She's over here making noise. So, the clinical psychologist that did examine Richard Allen, she told the jury that Allen said his intentions were sexual and that Allen called himself too much of a coward to kill himself. During some of his confessions, Dr. Monica said Allen gave specific details about the crime, which only the suspect would know. So that puts a little more weight into like him confessing. I mean, because she is a clinical psychologist, it's not like she's just, I don't know. I mean, it's someone like people could put the blame on. I mean, people could still put the blame on her. People could still put the blame on her, but Who would want to unalive 2 girls off a trestle bridge? I really don't get it because I've been there, and I guess if you're down on that side, maybe a lot of people don't walk all the way down because now there's a new side now, so it stops you like halfway through the bridge. So you don't know how far people would actually walk out. But just I mean, I don't know, just the circumstances. Like you see these girls and all of a sudden you're something clicks in your head and you're like, I'm going to unalive them. Or were you there that day looking for someone? And maybe you saw the 3 girls, but they were too close to the Freedom Bridge where there's traffic because the Freedom Bridge, which I should have pulled it up for you, is like an overpass. Like you walk over it and like there's traffic that goes like underneath of it. So I feel like if he was in his mind going to unalive 2 or anybody that day, a girl that day, um, maybe he saw the 3 girls towards the Freedom Bridge and was like, "No, because they're too close." And then he saw Abby and Libby. Now, I was thinking, and I was watching someone's podcast and they brought some of this stuff up and it made me think even more. But what made Libby take that phone out and record that 43-second video when bridge guy, they said, by all reports, was very grainy and very like small and far away when they started the recording, right? Do you guys think that maybe he walked past them? Like maybe he was towards the end of the bridge and he goes back like towards Freedom Bridge, like he's going to leave, and he passes them, and then he thinks, and then he's like, I'm going to do it. And that's when he turns back around and Libby thinks that's suspicious. I'm going to start recording. To me, that makes more sense than somebody walking like way far away. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, I'm going to record him. Like, that's weird. That's weird to me. Teenage girls are not going to record an older gentleman, 40s, 50s, almost without without a reason. I feel like maybe I really wish I can go back outside bridge. I wish I could get on that side, just so I could like show you guys. But maybe he was kind of chilling down there. And that's where he supposedly, remember when he said he was on the first dock? Remember how he said he was on the first dock and he was looking at the fish, checking the stocks or something? What if he wasn't on the first dock on that side of the bridge? What if he was on the dock on the other side of the bridge? On the first landing. So technically not lying, but technically not telling the truth. I don't know. My head's been going crazy. But Nancy put out a 5 hours ago a new podcast. I was like, girl, I was going to do other things, but that's fine because I love when she does something. Like I love when she does like stuff. So I had like all these other tabs open. I was like, let me see what Nancy's doing, because I knew with the confessions that's pretty big, and so I figured she'd probably make a video, and she did. She made not a video. I'm sorry. It's just a podcast. Let me go check her YouTube just to make sure, but usually she puts them out on a podcast and then she'll put it out on her channel on YouTube. Let's see. 4 hours ago. Oh, she's live from Delphi. She has her hat on and everything. Look at this. See her in that picture? Nancy, we gotta get you a better hat. But wow. Live from Delphi. Okay, so see how it's like 18 minutes? The one that I have is 45. So it's the whole thing. Let's just double check videos. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So this is what I have. And it is same thing as she has there. Delphi murder suspect confession to shrink reveals details only killer knew. Bum, bum, bum. I will put overlays up. That way you have something to look at while we're like, listening to Miss Nancy, the goat. She did look cute in the hat. We gotta get her a better one though. In my opinion, it's clue season. I like hidden true crime. Yeah, she had a lot of people today. True. I was like, dang, 10 grand. 10,000 people were in her chat. I was like, wow. So let's listen over to this. I will pause here and there for commentary. And if anybody has any questions over this case, let me know. If I don't know the answer, because this is such a twisted case, I'll look it up online and we'll find out together. Because there probably are some things that, I don't know. So thanks for being here, guys. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Jamie's Cowboys, that's really sweet. Those girls, they deserve to, live happy lives. Let's think here. So 13, 14. Libby would be like 22, 21 or 22. Can you imagine? I mean, that's crazy. They should be like out having their first drink or something, like worrying about that. It's just sad. This is a sad case. And I really, really hope that we get some transcripts after this. I wish they would release all the evidence exhibits and like pictures so that we could see what they are, not of the crime scene. Not that. I'm talking about like of, his confession letters and all of that kind of stuff. I would like to see that. And I would like to see the video that Libby took, the whole thing, the whole 43 seconds. I'd like to see that. So I'm going to play Nancy. Sometimes she's a little louder than I am. So if you're on your headphones, watch out. She comes in hot.
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. I have just come out of the courthouse here at Delphi, and I've got to tell you, it's nothing like you would ever imagine. Richard Allen comes in the room, assesses the entire situation, flanked by his lawyers, and then in comes the jury. In the last hours, I have heard testimony that I believe will render a verdict one way or the other. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
To the killer who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. You never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have. We know that this is about power to you, and you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
While Abby Williams' blood is in one spot of the crime scene, Major Pat Cicero says Libby German's blood is found in multiple spots of the crime scene. Cicero says Libby was likely attacked close by, but at one point was actually moving and basically walking in blood. Based on a large amount of Libby's blood being found in one spot, it is determined that Libby bled to death a short distance away from where she was first attacked. Also, after Libby was dead, her body was later dragged a short distance and placed close to a large tree.
Do you think he did that on purpose? Let her it's triggering, but she had a lot more wounds on her neck than Abby did. I believe almost in a way that maybe Abby was unconscious because she had no red stuff on her hands. And when you're, sliced at the throat, that's your immediate reaction, right? Is to grab it. But she had nothing on her hands. So he goes after Libby, but it seems like, or maybe he tries and she gets away. And that's her attempt to, and that's why there's piles of red liquid everywhere. Because unfortunately, she, didn't go very fast. Neither of them did. But I do think that maybe Abby could have been knocked out.
Are some of the facts that the jury has already heard about the way these girls' bodies were found. But I can tell you from being in the courtroom, it gets much worse. In the last hours, we have heard testimony from a psychologist who saw Richard Allen practically every day behind bars. I heard her describe, and I saw Richard Allen's jaw just working. The worse it got, the worse it got. I am telling you, I would stake everything that I have ever done in court, everything I know about the law on this. Richard Allen is not insane. He did not have a psychotic break. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he is playing everybody. Will that include the jury? I watched this guy nudge his lawyer, say something, and they give him mints. He asked for water. He asked for a writing pad.
Is he Alec Murdaugh?
He takes notes. He flips the page. He looks around. He looks back at a group of YouTubers who are very pro-defense, who have been publishing horrible things about the victims' families online. I would be very surprised if they don't get sued.
Who would that be? Who would that be? Somebody on the defense's side that has been publishing things. Oh, Nancy mad. Nancy's big mad. I want to know who the YouTubers are.
These people that are trashing the victims' families, suggesting that they had something to do with them.
Oh, no, they didn't. I'm going to rewind her back, but she is not going to say what I think she's going to say.
Murders. Yeah. And publishing horrible things about the victims' families online. I would be very surprised if they don't get sued. These people that are trashing the victims' families, suggesting that they had something to do with the murders. Yeah.
Nancy, you need to be on the Sebastian Rogers case. I think we should all. I'm gonna make sure everyone tweets. Start tweeting Nancy. Hashtag Sebastian Rogers. Hashtag Nancy Grace. We need you on the case, baby girl, because we've got some YouTubers over here that are acting up too. And I'm not talking about the ones that are on the defendant side.
Yeah. Think about Burt Ramsey before you keep doing that, you YouTubers, blaming the victims' families. But that said, let me get back.
Did Burt Ramsey get money or something? Did he get a settlement?
To the evidence. Joining me an all-star panel. But first, I want to go straight out to investigative reporter Susan Hendricks, author of Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. Okay, it all started off this morning with the first witness on the stand. Her name, Dr. Walla. And she describes multiple confessions the defendant gave. And the prosecutor, a female prosecutor, is very careful to ask, lead up to it. In fact, I thought I was going to jump out of my seat with all the lead up, but now I understand why. How was he acting? What was his demeanor? What else was he saying? And I want to reiterate this. After this guy would give a confession to murdering Abby and Libby, claiming he wanted to rape them, but he saw some guy and he backed off, that's why he took them down there. After he would tell the psychologist this while he was incarcerated, he would then go, look, I'm not getting enough water. I want my property back. I want a tablet. I want to talk to my wife. I want to change jails. He knew exactly what he was saying. Those confessions were just like, hey, can I have that bottle of water, please? Can you hand me that, Susan Hendricks? He is just as sane as everybody sitting up in Congress right now. Susan Hendricks, can we go straight to the first confession she outlined in court? And I got to tell you, I'm looking at the jury, Susan Hendricks, and I can already see alliances. And I can venture to guess who's going to vote which way, but I don't know enough yet. Susan, let's talk about the confession. Hit me.
Yeah, I mean, it was riveting inside, and we've been dying to hear from Richard Allen himself, and he is manipulative. And he would just say nonchalantly, I killed Abby and Libby, but I'm a coward. I won't kill myself. And it went on and on and on. But you're right. We talked about following them on the bridge, leading them down the hill. In his own words, I looked over at Abby and Libby's families and tears. It was a long time coming that they finally heard from him.
Well, what was so amazing to me, Susan Hendricks, is how he could shift gears. He was completely nonplussed. He would say, I killed Abby and Libby. You know, my wife doesn't believe me. At one juncture, hey, let's go straight out to Cheryl McCollum joining us, who has been on the case from the very beginning, founder, director of the Cold Case Research Institute, and forensic expert. Cheryl, I just wish you had seen this in court today. One thing, the prosecutor knew the psychologist records better than she did. She was having to flip through pages throughout. The prosecutor would have to direct her to a certain document and a certain paragraph in the document to get her to understand what the question was. That can work both ways, Cheryl. Number one, she can look unprepared, but number two, she clearly does not have a dog in the fight. She's not trying to convict this guy, or she would have the answers at the tip of her tongue, right? So it was amazing to me, Cheryl McCollum, that Alan would be saying, I killed Abby and Libby. I wanted to rape them, but this goes back to what you were telling me the other day, but I was interrupted. I thought I saw a guy, so I backed off. Then within a matter of minutes, he'll start saying, I'm worried I'm not going to get enough water behind bars. I want to change facilities. I want to be closer to my family. I mean, he's clearly totally sane, Cheryl.
Nancy, they had 9 correction officers testify when I was there that he would wait and watch them and would then do things when he knew they were looking at him, like that's when he would drink the toilet water. They felt like he was doing that deliberately to make them believe he was insane, but none of them thought he was.
Okay, I've got a theory. Everybody, let's go to Philip Dubé, high-profile lawyer joining us out of LA in the public defender's office, which means he tries a lot of cases. Philip, this is what I think is happening, and you help me figure out a way to shoot it down, all right? I think they are going to argue, the defense is going to argue that, of course, Richard Allen degenerated behind bars and that he was out of his mind from being in solitary when he gave those confessions. I think the state is laying a foundation right now, Philip, to show that he was confessing until he started confessing to his wife. And she said, shut the H up. Stop saying that. And she called his lawyers. Then he meets with his lawyers. And then suddenly, Philip, he starts eating paper, smearing feces, drinking toilet water. He had done nothing of that up until the time he tells his wife, I did it. And she calls in the lawyers, and then he starts acting crazy, Philip Dubé. You see what I'm saying here? He was giving confessions. His wife told the lawyers, and then suddenly, amazingly, he has a psychotic break. Are you with me, Dubé?
Of course. So if I were defending him, this is how I would tackle it. The test for the voluntariness of confessions is not psychosis or insanity. It's whether or not the conditions were so treacherous and so dreadful that you would cop to anything to change your conditions and surroundings. And by copping out to crimes, in his mind, he thought that they would improve the conditions, give him better food, give him a better cell, and not cut him off from the outside world. And that is the whole theory behind involuntary confessions. You'll cop to anything. Yes.
How can you reconcile the two things that you just said? You said that they're going to argue the conditions in solitary were so horrible that he had a psychotic break. But yet you also said he's angling to get better food, go to a better prison, get more water, get more visits. How can you be crazy and yet you're angling to get better treatment? I mean, that's not crazy. Point. That's crazy like a fox, Dubé.
No. What you're doing is you're trying to let everybody know that your situation is wreaking havoc on the human psyche due to either under or malnourishment. And he's losing his mind, frankly, but not to the point of psychosis or insanity, but to get people to listen to him and feed him properly, give him something to drink, talk to him like a normal person, and take him out of those torturous type conditions so that he can take agency over his life without being non-compos mentis, because I truly believe that the malnourishment and the undernourishment was taking an emotional and a mental toll on him, to the point that he would say anything to get the guards' attention.
Philip, what undernourishment?
I can agree with
He
that.
says, I want more bottled waters. They give it to him. He eats all of his food. What undernourishment are you even talking about? Are you just
No, he was starving himself there for a while, remember? That's why he went from looking like a person to looking like a skeleton. But solitary confinement will do that to a person, right? I mean, imagine being locked up 23 hours a day. Everybody's looking at you, thinking that you unalive these two beautiful little girls that all they wanted to do, hey DM, hey CJK, was go out on the bridge, Monon High Bridge, sit up there, hang out, take pictures. Like, how much more innocent can you get? When I was 13, 14, what was I doing? I think I was still being good. I think I was still good. But everybody does some, everybody like sneaks a cigarette or sneaks a drink. They were over there just taking pictures. Like, it's crazy to me how you can go from an average day, bored, let's go take some pictures, to this. I mean, it's terrible.
spinning this out like Rumpelstiltskin? Well, what are you talking about?
No. Don't you remember, the man was wasting away to nothing? He was emaciated. There was nothing left to him.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to look like the bridge guy. They're giving him food. He's changing his appearance. Do you think Ted Bundy wasn't given food? No, he changed his appearance and lost weight so he could escape from a heat vent. No, you come on. I'm talking about the truth. I'm talking about what I just saw in court.
I know, but you're making it sound like they were giving him a smorgasbord every day and he can eat to his heart's content.
And you're making it sound like they were starving him.
Pretty much.
Okay, you know what? I can see where this is going. Let me understand. Your theory is he starved himself into a psychotic break. I don't know that that's possible, but maybe.
I don't know.
In Philip Dubé world, it is. Let's go through, regardless of what Dubé is advancing right now. Susan Hendricks, I want to go back to what we learned in court today. I want to go to, if I can wade through all of my notes, let me get back to page 7 of my notes.
Oh, page 7.
He said he wanted closure, that he wanted to sign his confession, that he wanted to apologize to his family, and that he was trying to forgive himself. At this point, he was, quote, not disorganized. He had a coherent speech and appearance. He did not cry. He stated that he took the girls down to rape them, that he was interrupted. He saw a guy or heard a guy.
In my opinion, he was only after Libby. In my opinion, I think that's why she was unalive second, and Abby was unalive first, and quickly, it seems like.
Stated that he covered their bodies up with twigs and he said branches. He covered their bodies with branches. He said, I didn't do all the things I've said I've done, but I did kill Abby and Libby, but my wife won't believe me. He wanted to know if his family would, quote, keep loving him. In fact, he asked a psychologist to get him a phone. She did get him a phone. He spoke to his wife. When she came back into the room, the psychologist, he wanted to recall the wife. And he went, no, I want you to stay in here. I want you to hear it. And he continued to confess. Susan, relay to everyone what we've just heard in court.
Yes, and hearing Dr. Walla on the stand, Nancy, as you said, and saying at one point that he molested his sister, another time, as you mentioned, saying he was interrupted. And that could either be Libby's dad, who was set there to pick her up around 3:30. Was he calling her name? Did that interrupt Richard Allen? But finally admitting to this. And yesterday, he looked very different. We saw the October 2022 video, the first interview. when he seemed like a normal guy, that nothing was wrong. Now he's meek, putting his head down, glaring back at his wife. You're absolutely right. These are key to this case. I believe that he's not insane, that the high security prison did not cause him to become insane. I believe he's manipulative, and did kill Abby and Libby from his own words.
Susan Hendricks, you kind of glossed over a big bombshell in the courtroom. He said that his words to the effect that his problem, that's what he called it. I was calling it attraction to underage girls. But his problem all started when he molested his sister.
Oh.
That's what he just said in court. Did you hear that?
I heard that, and I wrote it down, and he said molesting his sister, that molesting kids his own age when he was younger. And Nancy, I know you remember this, when he said he thought Abby and Libby were older. This is after the fact, after he killed them. It dawned on him. Oh, I thought they were older.
Older? Y'all, look at these girls. Okay, I am so sorry, but Abby, she looks like a baby. She was 13. I wouldn't place her over 11. Now, Libby may be a little older. I would probably place her at her age, 13, 14. But what is he talking about? Thought they were older. You're just trying to, no. That's an afterthought because you just done allegedly a 13 and 14-year-old.
What is your last memory?
She was standing at the door with this smile that she has. And I said, it could be a little chilly out there. You get a jacket. She just looked at me and smiled and said, I'll be okay. It's okay, Grandma. That's my last memory.
Dropping her off at their house with their paints. That is the last visual I have of my little girl. It's on that bridge.
Explaining how Libby's blood ended up on a small tree about 4 feet from the ground, Major Cicero says it's likely a blood transfer as the result of coming in contact with the bloody body of Libby German. Cicero believes at least one of her neck injuries happened near the small tree. Cicero also believes Libby left a bloody handprint shaped like an upside-down L on one of the trees.
We are camped outside the Delphi courthouse and have just come out of the courtroom bringing you the very latest. And I will guarantee you, whether the jury hears it or not from the experts, Richard Allen is not crazy. Richard Allen did not have a psychotic break behind bars. He is playing everybody like a fiddle. Joining me right now is Jeffrey Gentry, forensic certified bloodstain pattern analyst, senior crime scene analyst and death investigator, former toxicology lab analyst. It goes on, but listen to this. Author of Forensic Science, Applications to Death and Crime Scene Investigations, and many more. Jeffrey Gentry, thank you so much for being with us. Jeff, I want you to hear this. Listen.
The crime scene has multiple areas of blood that are almost all from Libby German. And in an area away from where the bodies of Libby and Abby are found is a big pool of blood near a tree. This is the spot where Libby's throat is slit and where she most likely grabs at her neck as a reflex action to try and slow the bleeding. It is in this spot where Libby German slumps against the tree, unable to stop the bleeding, accounting for the vast amount of blood on her hands before coming to a seated position near where the largest pool of coagulating blood is found.
Jeffrey Gentry, could you explain what we just heard? How you can tell what happened by the blood analysis?
Yes, Nancy. I'm really happy that the prosecution used a blood pattern analyst because that's what blood pattern analysis is for. It's for explaining unwitnessed events when there's blood at a scene. And if you have blood, it's going to explain events that occurred. And in this case, it was obviously a lot of blood. These poor little girls suffered quite a bit. And in this case, the young lady that was found, that was taken from one location to another, there were blood transfers on a tree. And they were up high enough that would indicate that she was upright at some point during this attack.
Gentry, could you just hold on just one moment? I'm drinking from the fire hydrant here. You're giving me so much information. Could you repeat the starting 2 sentences ago about how the blood transfer got on the tree and what that means to you in combination with the highly saturated earth saturated with blood.
Yes. So this young lady sustained neck injuries or major wounds that are going to bleed a lot, and they're going to bleed very fast. And almost always, as a reaction to these type of injuries, a victim is going to touch the wound. And so by touching that wound, they're going to transfer blood to their hand or their arms. And in an effort to either fight off their attacker or just to survive themselves, they're going to touch other objects. And so that's exactly what happened in this case. There were blood transfer stains that were high enough up on a tree that would indicate that she was in a standing position. So she's touched this wound. She knows she's injured. And then she's transferring her own blood to this tree, either by her fingers or hand or body parts that are bloody. But then at some point, you're going to start to suffer the effects of blood loss. And so there was evidence that she bled significantly near that tree. So you have blood that's accumulated on the ground. It would normally, like if you had it in a living room or on a tile floor, you would see a giant blood pool. But in this case, it's out in the open. It's on dirt or branches. And so you see that there is evidence of a large volume of blood there that starts to obviously coagulate and dry. So that's how we know that not only was she injured when she was standing, but then she's essentially fighting off or trying to get away from her attacker. She touches the tree while standing. And then as she sustains the effects of blood loss, she then likely collapses in that area, allowing blood to accumulate on the ground near the tree. And again, that's what blood pattern analysis is all about. It's there to explain events that are unwitnessed when there's bleeding that has occurred.
Take a listen to this, Jeff.
The large pool of blood near the base of the small tree is most likely the spot where Libby dies. She's then dragged to the location where her body will be found the next day. Major Pat Cicero says the streaks of blood that run from Libby's right eye to her ear were textbook consistent with dilution, pointing out how they get lighter and lighter and describing it as absent raindrop or water. He says the source of the thinning was a tear. Sniffles are heard through the courtroom, and it's at this point that Carrie Timmons, Liberty German's mother, breaks down.
All along, the victims' parents, grandparents, have hoped and prayed that the girls died quickly. When the evidence of the blood mingled with the girls' tears came out in court, the family couldn't take it. It's horrible.
If you're a smoker looking for an alternative to traditional tobacco, bag, pocket, and
to throw fuel
on bulk Fuji.
To Jeff Gentry, if you could analyze what you are hearing, number one, that based on the blood evidence alone, the detectives know that at least one of the girls was dragged to where she was found. And number two, how do you determine that a tear going down the side of the face was mixed with or diluted with, a tear was diluted with blood?
I was going to bring that up. That's incredibly sad if that's true. But I guess the way that the blood was traveling on Libby, there was a streak, I'm assuming, like of clear, maybe liquid or something that I dried. And it was a tear. Now, maybe she was on her side and her eyes just produced that. I know that sounds so like, yeah, right, Tanya, but I'm trying to think of the alternative, you know? But no, it was a tear and it's incredibly sad.
Okay, I'll tackle those in the order you gave them to me. So the body being transferred from one location,
and I wonder what Richard Allen thought about that,
to another. Just like the blood that was transferred to a tree, you'll see evidence of blood transfer on the ground. When somebody's bleeding, they're going to either continue to bleed, or if they've already died, they're going to have blood on their body. So you can see blood that has been transferred from one location to another.
I have another question too. Okay, bridge guy, AKA, supposed to be Richard Allen. walking down the street with muddy, bloody clothes, right? Did he get in his car with those same clothes? And these are questions because I don't have the answers. And did he still have that same car when they arrested him? Because I thought that he did, but I'm not 100% on that. So if you know, let me know. Because that just seems like I don't see Richard Allen derobing in the middle of the road, like, by his car or anything. But there would have to be something. And did his wife notice it when he got home that day? Also, another question I have that I haven't heard anybody ask was going to Monon High Bridge something that Richard Allen did frequently or every once in a while, anytime. Had he ever done this before this day? That's another question I have. Was he a regular there or was this his first time? Because if I was his wife and this was his first time, I'd be side-eyeing him.
And just the mere fact that these injuries were so severe and that there was a large accumulation of blood near the tree, naturally you would assume that this young lady likely died near the tree. And then since her body was found in another location, that it was transferred from one spot to another. In addition to that, there will be blows or blood that has went from one location to another on the body. And so when the body is found in a position that contradicts those flow patterns.
If he still had the car, he could have steamed his seats and that would have killed, any kind of evidence like that.
You can also tell that the body has been moved. And that was the case on her body. As far as the tears go, that's an amazing observation by the blood analyst. So I'm very proud that they found that because it's hard to see those kind of things. And considering that he was going in after the fact and looking at photographs, it's difficult to see those type of things. But what you're looking at on the body, and when you...
Yeah, he did say that he was looking at the fish on the first little lookout. He was watching the stock clicker or whatever it's called and looking at the fish. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been on that bridge. You can't see no fish. You can't see any fish. You just can't. Now, I did see a dam being built by some beavers. Vincent pointed that one out. That was cute. Never seen that before. But yeah, no fish. Didn't see any fish from up there. Don't know why you'd even be up there looking for fish. If you're looking for a good fishing spot, you'd be down by the water.
When you bleed, the blood is going to dry on the body rather quickly. And if there's a diluting substance, you'll be able to see that. And in this case, it was near her eyes or her face that would indicate that the only fluid source available was tears. And so that'll dilute the blood. A picture, anytime you've ever bled, like if you've cut yourself shaving or you had a little cut on your hand and you bleed in the sink. Well, when you turn on the water, it's going to dilute the blood. And that's what it's going to look like. The question I believe that was brought up in court is, was this maybe condensation or environmental factors? And if it was an environmental factor or like condensation or rain, you would see the blood diluted uniformly throughout the entire body or all the blood stains on the body. Whereas in this case, they just saw that near the area of the eye or the face. And that would provide additional evidence that it was tears that diluted the blood as opposed to some other fluid or condensation.
The deaths of Libby German and Abby Williams have impacted the Delphi community and beyond. The crime scene photos and testimony have been hard to see and hear, but when Major Pat Cicero explains how blood that flowed down Libby's face bore the tracks of the teen's tears, it was almost too much to bear as her mother breaks down and weeps in the courtroom.
The focus now of the defense is the timeline. Not what did they do, when did they do it, and who was around to see it, and what did they tell authorities.
The timeline is critical because she did not record just guys down the hill. We all know that. There's more.
While Libby German has blood on her body and
wanna know
hands,
the
has
more
multiple cuts to her throat, and walked in the blood, Abby Williams is much different. Major Pat Cicero says it is likely that Abby was laying down on her back when her throat was slit. When Abby is found, her hands are balled up like fists to her chest and tucked into the sweatshirt she is wearing that belongs to Libby. It is most likely that Abby died where she was attacked.
We are live here at the courthouse in Delphi and have just come out of the courtroom.
Do you think that he could have hit Abby with the butt of his gun and caused her to be knocked unconscious? Because if you think about it, I mean, a GUN will probably help keep them in the same area. But I feel like as soon as he would turn his back, one of them would run. I don't know. I just feel like that. So I feel like maybe he hit her with the butt of his gun. I mean, she's a small girl. And it caused her to be unconscious. And then that's when he did what he did to her neck. I'm kind of hoping for that outcome because maybe then she didn't feel anything because her hands were clean. That's the only thing. Like her hands were clean. So she didn't react like everybody would react. Immediately put your hands to your neck. Something like that. So something was, causing her to not do that. And then I think with Libby, he was just brutal. We haven't been able to see the autopsies. They're kind of talking about what happened, in court, but we do know that their throats were both slashed. We know that it was one big wound on Abby. Her hands were clean. And then there were 4 to 5 wounds on Libby, but some of them were secondary swipes. So first swipe, and the second swipe in the same exact spot as the first. And she bled in a few different spots.
We've all been waiting for that evidence.
I think Libby fought back too. For some reason, Libby and Kaylee Gonzalez, I don't know, they remind me a lot alike. For some reason, I don't know.
That could clinch the case for the state or disprove the state's case. Because I've got to tell you, in light of the fact that there is no DNA linking the defendant, Richard Allen, to the crime scene, if all the state was relying on was a bullet that was cycled through, not shot down the barrel of a gun, which of course leaves a fingerprint marking that links one bullet to one particular gun. Without that, we had to hear the confessions. And in those confessions, there had to be something that only the killer would know. And that just happened. Because I'm telling you, with no DNA, no eyewitness, and just the bullet found there, some of the jurors could not accept the science behind specific indentations and markings on a bullet that was never fired. Some juror may reject that. Just like jurors at one time didn't believe DNA or fingerprints. Yes, it happens. So we were waiting, and we just heard from the witness stand a psychologist that spent practically every day behind bars with Richard Allen. Joining me, investigative reporter Susan Hendricks, who actually wrote the book, Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. Susan, I want to refer you to one of the many confessions he gave. And he states that he had a gun. He states that he pointed the gun. He describes exactly what happens. He admits he was at the bridge at the time the murders occurred, in that time period, wearing the same clothes as the bridge guy. Now, could you explain when he tells the jury that he had a gun and that he then covered the girls' bodies with branches? That information was not out there. that had not been released. Only the killer would have known all that.
Absolutely. And there goes the spin, Nancy, the defense trying to say the odorous theory and that sticks at the site happened to be put in a specific order near Abby's head and that it meant something. Now we learned why he did it. Throwing sticks on, as the prosecution thought, and now we're hearing it from his own words, he followed them on the bridge, ordered them down a hill, had the gun and that voice down the hill. We've heard over and over again. We hear it from him finally. And you're absolutely right. In terms of circumstantial evidence, we couldn't have just the bullet. Now we have his confessions. And again, there goes the odorous theory that the judge didn't allow it.
One of his many confessions. Now, after he states on his own, sua sponte, that he had molested his sister, and that's where he thought his, quote, problems started, somehow almost blaming his sister, he then finds religion behind bars. He demands Bibles, which he gets. He wants more Bibles. He wants to share his Bible. He sleeps with his Bible. And
what? He sleeps with his Bible.
During his religious phase, he confesses. He says he wants to apologize to the victim's family, and he wants closure by signing his confession. What about it, Susan Hendricks?
Giving the family a Bible, too. I looked over it. I saw eyes rolling. I'd like to give this Bible to Abby and Libby's families. Look, they don't want it. They want their girls back. And you took their lives away at just age 13 and 14 years old. It's despicable. And I'm glad that the jurors are hearing.
Who the hell would want that? I wouldn't want nothing from him.
Actually said he regretted what he did. And the fact that he was asking for closure by signing the confession. Guys, in addition to Jeffrey Gentry, Cheryl McCollum, Philip Dubé, Susan Hendricks, joining me right now is a renowned medical examiner. He is the author of American Narcan, and he has devoted his life to helping others, specifically in bringing peace and closure on causes of death. Dr. William Maroney, my longtime colleague and friend. Dr. Maroney, I want to talk to you about some very odd cuts to the girl's necks. And Susan Hendricks, jump in because I believe you heard the testimony as well. The throat slashings, Dr. Maroney, were not completely across the neck in at least one of the victims. There were multiple 4 to 5 vertical cuts on their necks. And the medical examiner is going to be tested, the medical examiner's report, as to whether the cuts were done with a box cutter as opposed to, say, a butcher knife. And also, I want your opinion on the blood evidence we're hearing about and those vertical cuts, because you don't normally hear of someone's throat getting slashed with vertical cuts. What does all of this mean to you, Dr. Maroney?
It's interesting to say that there's vertical and there's horizontal, because what you have to ask is which happened first. That's a big part of this. I want to bring in a prop and show you a neck. This is how we demonstrate this. The neck, when you look at vertical, those were probably done first, because anything going horizontal would have ended life instantly, and the loss of blood pressure would have caused a complete collapse and the body would have gone down. Now, the reason why the vertical is important, this is a box cutter, is you don't have a big long blade. You have to go in this way and down. Now, the vertical cuts come first because somebody's reaching out to cut. The final cut would have been if there was somebody against a tree or on the ground, and it would have come this way. The order tells you that the victim did not die instantly, and that's what you get with the transfer of blood. When a victim tries to close a wound, they're pushing left or right together, but it's really hard if you get that first cut this way you lose posture, you lose blood pressure, and it's almost impossible to stop. So the order of the cuts are important. And if we go back to the consistency of the diluted blood with tears, if they do the analysis right, tears contain lipids, proteins, antibodies, and stress hormones. That in those samples that dry are going to show you that it wasn't rain and it wasn't moisture. So the order, the timing of how the cuts can be determined, that anything that's vertical really makes a lot more sense, as that's how it started. Plus, if somebody comes after you with a box knife and you lean back, you're losing contact coming this way. And that's how the person didn't die right away, and the victim probably suffered much more, because those verticals, especially if they were trying to defend themselves, were the first cuts. And the horizontal cut was fatal.
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. We are live at the Delphi courthouse and have just come out of the courtroom after riveting testimony by a psychologist that spent day upon day upon day with Richard Allen. Before I go to the other panelists, let me go back to Susan Hendricks, joining us, investigative reporter and author of Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. So many confessions. I don't, what else will it take, Susan Hendricks? He's given over 60 confessions. He's remorseful. He got tearful in some of them. And one of them, he says, I wanted to, quote, go back and change what he did. He took comfort in religion. He says over and over, I killed Abby and Libby. My wife won't believe me. I want closure by signing my confession. But what I'm looking for is specific detail, because a confession that is rich in detail, or a statement rich in detail, is more believable. He explains he wanted to rape the girls, but then did not. He goes on to describe putting branches over them, says he had a gun. He goes on with information, for instance, that he's...
I have a question. If somebody interrupted him right before he was going to sexually assault one of the girls, how would he have time, unless the person was pretty far away, to cover them? Like, wouldn't he just dip out? Like, forget about covering them. I hear someone, I'm out of here. This case is just so weird.
Saw a man, and that cut into what he wanted to do.
I think it's what it is there's no DNA, there's no Google searches, there's no telematics on the car, there's no GPS from a phone, and that's hard for us as people that are living in 2024 to convict somebody if we don't have those things. Now, we just have to really rely on the circumstantial evidence that they're going to give us in this case. And hopefully it's true and they did their job. I know they messed up. They said they messed up in places, but man, I hope they have the right person. And I really just want justice for these families. I really do, but I want the right justice.
The psychologist said he appeared relieved after he gave the confession. She also said that she believed he was feigning in order to manipulate people. The odd behavior, such as drinking toilet water, his behavior with his own feces, none of that happened till he confessed to his wife, and she called the lawyer, and the lawyer met with him. So what are the other details that he revealed in his confessions to the psychologist, Susan Hendricks?
Yeah, and today was it, Nancy. We heard it together, telling that step by step of what he did. He admits to following the girls on the bridge, having a gun, ordering them down the hill, being interrupted, as you said. That could either be the owner of the private property down the hill, who has a white van and there's a roadway, did you hear the white van? Or was it Libby's father, who was supposed to pick them up? Derek, and says that he called for the girls. Is that what interrupted that? But giving a detail by detail account of what he did, and you're right, his wife hanging up, calling the attorneys, and that is where the defense is going to go, saying he was in a maximum security prison, he shouldn't have been there, wasn't convicted, and that place drove him to this psychosis. But again, confessing over and over, saying he wanted to start World War III at one point.
He never complained about his treatment to the psychologist, even when, remember they kept asking in court, what did he list as his complaints? He never complained about his treatment. And isn't it true, Susan Hendricks, that in his confession to the psychologist, he said he had a gun? Nobody knew that for the longest time. Remember, we were speculating about the COD cause of death. No one knew there was a gun except the killer. And here he is telling all to the psychologist.
Absolutely. And law enforcement was criticized, Nancy, for years for not telling us or giving us more information. And what if? Because they did have that bullet, that they said there was a gun. He admits to the gun. Now we have him there. They were words that we wanted to hear from the killer. I believe he is the killer. I believe this is what everyone needed to hear, wanted to hear. And as you know, it's so windy outside of the courthouse. I know you're feeling it too. But we were inside and everyone was listening very closely to what this doctor had to say. Why? Because she was speaking for Richard Allen. What he said to her, even claiming, remember this, Nancy, a sex addiction.
We are live at the Delphi courthouse, bringing you the latest testimony pouring from the witness stand. Susan Hendricks, I just want to go over another thing I heard in the courtroom. I heard in one of the confessions Alan gave, he said, I made sure they were dead because I didn't want them to, and then it faded out. I couldn't hear what the witness was saying. I didn't want them to what? Tell anybody? I made sure they were dead because I didn't want them to what?
Suffer. He didn't want them to suffer.
Oh, how kind of him. He also said, the shrink also said he did not indicate anyone helped him. He again reiterates this was all about sex and that he thought the girls could have been as young as 11.
Whoa.
Okay. He then points out other people he saw in the vicinity. They're all
But then he said he thought that they were older.
Children. He's staking out the bridge, looking at children. He saw 3 other people, he says. Joining me right now.
It's so weird because that's just not the place that you would think that you would want to hurt somebody. It is like, okay, it is wooded and everything like that, and it's a trail, but I just feel like it's kind of open in spots. Even though there are a lot of trees, it's open. And like, it's not like a small little walking path. I mean, it's like large enough for 2 cars, I feel like, to be on there. Like, I just don't see that being a spot that you would go to do that. But then again, maybe whoever did this, if it was Richard Allen or somebody else, they were staking out the spot. They were comfortable in that spot. I mean, they had to have been at least a little comfortable in that area for them to, be able to pull this off.
Now is Dr. Mark Mirabello. He is author of The Odin Brotherhood at markmirabello.com. Mark, thank you for being with us. We heard that the defendant revealed he laid branches across the girl's body. That happens all the time when murders occur outdoors. The killer, for whatever psychological reason, tries to cover up their body with branches or leaves. What could that possibly have to do with Odinism, Mark?
You can have a ritual without sacrifice, but you cannot have sacrifice without ritual. And to just lay a few branches on someone and to carve some kind of symbol on a tree, this does not qualify as a ritual sacrifice. Ritual sacrifices are really elaborate and could take a great period of time. So now regarding how various defense witnesses have claimed that they see significance in the way the crime scene was arranged, that reminds me of how some people can see messages in alphabet soup. There really isn't one there, but they see it with the letters.
Okay, now wait, hold on just a moment. Dr. Mark Mirabello, I'm starting to understand what you are talking about when you say people reading messages in their alphabet soup, because that's spinning way out there. Putting branches over two bodies, in my mind, does not equal Odinism. But that is what the defense is going to try and argue. Guys, Dr. Mirabello is the author of The Odin Brotherhood. Cheryl McCollum and Susan Hendricks, I want to talk to you very quickly before you have to go back into the courtroom about the audio portion of the bridge guy. Susan Hendricks, isn't it true that when the full portion of the audio is played, we hear a lot more? There is mention of a gun. Only the killer and the two girls would have known that. What else did you hear on the audio, Susan Hendricks?
Initially, I thought they sound so young, and that was heart-wrenching, of course, hearing the girls' voices. But you did hear Abby say, "Hey, don't leave me up here," because she was a couple steps back from Libby. Then you hear Libby say, "We got to go down this way." Then you hear, "That's a gun," or something to that effect, and you hear a click. And then you hear guys and hi, like a scared hi, and then down the hill. It was hard to listen to.
Cheryl McCollum, that has been your assertion since day one when this video emerged, that the perp, the bridge guy, who happens to be wearing the very same clothes as Richard Allen, who places himself at the location of the crime scene at the time of the crime, all along you said you thought he had a gun stuffed in his pocket, that was what he's holding.
Absolutely. And Leggett testified that he, as a police officer, could hear that gun racking. And, you know, I also think they found another unspent cartridge in his memory box in his bedroom. Could that be the one that he picked up? Because Nancy, again, to your point, he puts himself there, date, time. He's on video. You hear that voice. And
if he wouldn't have put himself there, like if he wouldn't have went to the that officer, the nature officer, I wonder if he would be sitting here right now.
People have already said from the tapes they've heard, it sounds like Bridge Guy. He parked way away from the bridge. He had the, ejected cartridge that was unspent that matched his weapon. He stopped on a warm day to get a jacket. None of this makes sense.
And let me tell you, this is just day one of the beginning of his confessions, and already admitting to the branches, the gun, the intent to rape, and so much more that only the killer would know. We wait as justice unfolds. Thank you for joining us here on Crime Stories, out in front of the Delphi courthouse, as testimony resumes. Goodbye, friend.
Okie dokie. Remove her from the screen. I'm glad that we got to watch the full episode, because I seen a lot of people that were just like, I was looking in the live tab because I'm nosy. I'm a nosy girl. And I was just wondering if there was a lot of people covering this case, because there was really not a lot of people covering this case before it went to trial. I feel like a few channels have been, I know Criminality is one of them. She's been on this case. She's like a dog with a bone. I need to listen to some of her stuff because I'm sure she has a brilliant mind. So I need to go listen to some of her Delphi coverage. But there's a lot of people that are covering this case really, really well. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen the whole video, and I don't think we will see the whole video unless for some reason they release the evidence that they have, like their exhibits, like, for us to see, or they release more transcripts. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to follow a case when they are not letting anybody into the courtroom. This is the first time we didn't even do Lori Vallow, and I followed that case from like the first day. But when they were like, we're just going to do audio, all of a sudden, like, I just fell out of like I was just like, I don't want to hear her freaking voice like that. I want to see it. Like, I want to see her. By the way, she's representing herself in her next trial. Not very smart. Not very smart. So, do you think that some people are saying that Richard Allen is innocent for more people to view their content? Because that is kind of like what the more popular opinion is right now, I feel like. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are rooting for Richard Allen. I'm just wondering. I wonder what, like, I haven't watched a lot of like hidden true crime. Like, I just kind of wonder what they're thinking. So I need to go look. And like Andrea Burkhart, I need to listen to her a little bit, see what she's been saying. You've been here 6 months. Oh, that's amazing, Karina. You should be able to do your membership thing. You remember mild membership? I love doing my mild membership. I'm only a member of 2 chats now. I'm a member, and I always tell you guys, in Granny's and Jones's. That's the only 2 people I'm a member in. I don't have my gifts turned on, or I'd be a member probably everywhere. Because I'm always listening. I'm always listening in. So, right? Yeah, Catherine. Yeah, she didn't. I have a bunch of emails from her that I need to go through. Oh, my eyes are sorry. I don't even have any mask. Okay, so I did all my makeup today, and that's why I had my. Okay, so in the beginning of the live, couldn't see me. I was going to get up and be like, hold on a second, because I didn't do anything with my eyebrows, which, I mean, they're just eyebrows. And I didn't put any like mascara on. But I like sat back down and I was like, who cares? Who cares? I did the rest. I really, really need courtroom cameras. You can't follow anything. I mean, even if it's audio, it's still hard to follow. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but it gets boring. It gets kind of boring, you know? So, yeah, Catherine, I've been over there about a year now. December, it'll be a year. I don't know how I know like exactly when I became a member. All right, that's when I went over to the channel. Like a subpoena for the confessions for anyone. And I never usually do either. I don't know why. I've been liking putting this stuff on. Oh, it's so far away. I just got more because I like it so much. But I use like a shiny stuff, and then I use like Clinique over it. I don't know. I have to do sometimes I do my makeup on my other channel while we chit chat, you know, if you haven't been over there yet. And I just actually moved my smaller desk. It's like a little portable desk over to that side of the, so over this side of our house. That way, because that's where my little setup is to do my shows for Unfiltered. And now I can be over there. I can have the desk at least over there because it's it's hard to take like stuff over there. Like, I don't even know if I will take any lights over there, to be honest. I might buy a new light for over there if it's small and compact, because I just don't have room for anything. No more room. I came home today. I'm terrible. So yesterday I went to Target. I go there every day. I don't know why. We always need something. And so I came home with a pillow. Well, last night I came home with a pillow, a big pillow, and a blanket, but they were on clearance. It was really good price on clearance. So I was like, I have to get it. I didn't have to get it. Well, there was a pillow that matched the blanket, but I was like, no, I don't need the pillow to match the blanket. Well, would you not know? Today when I went there, they had that pillow still, and I said, it's on clearance. So, plus I had a rough day. I wanted to get myself something nice. I was going to get myself flowers, but then I realized I don't have a nice vase to put them in. My vase broke, so I have to buy a vase. That'll get expensive. And I thought about buying myself flowers today. Vincent brought me home food. It was really sweet. Like really sweet. You know, like that's what he thinks of, you know. He like that. It was nice. Right? National Native. I literally should have stocks in Target. I should have like like a deal with them. Like I need to talk to them about a deal because I am there every day. Like I am their number one customer. I am the epitome of going in for one thing and coming out with a bunch of things. Like I do it every time. Like when we went in there one time and we spent like $10, we got like one thing or something or two things. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now, if we could, if I don't know if it's in the app, but if you could add up all my Target for the year, I'd probably die. But I told Vincent I'm gonna try to go like without buying anything for a while. But I did get something though for you guys. It's gonna be fun. I got one of those camera, those things that, you know, that hold your phone so you can record, like do recordings like hands free. I'm gonna take you guys on a whole day with me, like a whole day. Oh, thanks, Nightbot. Hmm. So, yeah, I want to do that for you guys because I don't know what happens, but it's like a bomb explodes in the house overnight. I was on a damn scavenger hunt this morning. Vincent must have had the munchies, and he doesn't smoke or anything. He just must have got up and got the munchies. He was eating Pocky sticks. I was finding Pocky wrappers everywhere, like because he slept on the couch, and so, you know, sometimes he just falls asleep on the couch. And because I have like dogs and everything with me, so he fell asleep on the couch with Pockies everywhere. And there was like a bottle of water, like a Gatorade bottle, like over here. I'm like, what did he do last night? Have a party? Like without me? Was I sleeping? I do it too, though. But I can't stand when there's like stuff that's just like little things that just need to be put away. I have to do it before I come in here and do anything. Amazon, me too. But I do love Target. I'm addicted, Linda. It's bad. I wish I would have brought my pillows over to show y'all. I don't know if I have that white one back there. My little snowball. I have two of the same pillow. They were on clearance. I try to get things when they're on sale at Target. I really do. They have it. If you guys are, they have some. They have some good clearance right now on their fall stuff, but it's beautiful. Like their vases and stuff are like $12. Originally like 25 or 30. Pretty good deals. Oh, I use glow. I wonder what mine is. Let me see. Oh, mine is L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glowation. And I get the little bit of the darker one because because my makeup's a little lighter. So it works out. Your company's adding Black Friday as a paid holiday for you? Mary Beth, that's amazing. They should do that for everybody. Man, I didn't get no I always worked Black Friday when I was younger. Oh. But I do like Amazon. I got a couple things actually. Let's see. Let's snoop. Seven things in my cart. Well, you know, that's not that many. Oh, okay. So I got an ice cube tray that's coming for my cup. So like it'll, I don't know, fill the cup better because I'm using like a whole ice cube tray. So it's crazy. And then that little thing that goes around my neck, it's coming Friday. And then the snail mucin stuff that I put under my eyes is coming. Anything else? Nope. But I've bought a lot. I got a lot this month because we kind of needed it, like a couple things, you know. Especially it was really the wedding. Oh, Rocky, no, I know. I do that. So if it's an online only, me and the girl at the self-checkout, we cool. We real cool. So all I do is like, 'cause sometimes I like one time I didn't see the online only And I was like, oh. So she's like, don't even worry, honey. She said, if it's online only and you want to shop in store, just let me know. And she just takes the discount off for me. And I'm like, thank you, lady. They're all really nice. I think I should probably get I should probably get a job there. Shoot, as much as I'm there. See me at the Target. I look good. I look good in red and black. That's awesome. That's a paid holiday. I remember working in retail and Black Friday was bad. I haven't worked. It's been 3 years since I've worked a Black Friday. I think 3 years. Only 3 years. It seems like so much longer. This will be my third, I think. I mean, I work for my store. I do that. But I'm not running around like a maniac, you know. My orders I'm very, I don't know. I'm very organized. Ladybug, I love snail mucin. I have like 3 or 4 different things that I use. Like I use like a face thing, an under eye cream. It's a lot. But the under eye cream I use, I just realized it's for nighttime. So I'm going to save that for night. Like when I go to bed, put that on and then use this one. It's like a roller. I want to try it out. It was $6 or $7 from Core 6. So it wasn't too bad. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. People all Nash Native. It was getting yelled at. Nothing like it, you know? Say nothing like getting bitched at 7 o'clock in the morning. I remember 6 o'clock in the morning and the mall didn't even have their lights on. They were supposed to be open at like 5:30 or something crazy. And we're all just standing there like, what do we do? Like, I mean, my store was bright. I mean, I'm like, come on in and shop, y'all. Like, this is stupid. Like, right? And like, people were just standing out there and they're like, what do we do? And I'm like yelling in the mall. I'm like, someone turn the music and the lights on. Yeah, that would have been me. I still go to that mall like all the time. Actually, I took a video. It was so sad of the stores I used to work at. I wonder if I could send it to myself though. Like on here. Where did I take these pictures? Oh. Let me see if I I probably can't send it to myself. But my blood work came back fine. I tested negative for Hep B, Hep C, and HIV. But look at my arm. So when she took my blood, it didn't hurt. And I thanked her. I was like, thank you. That was like great. You know, it didn't even feel it. Like I always like to tell nurses that, even if I do kind of feel it, just because like they deal with a lot of shitty people, right? So look what happened. Well, you can't really see it, but yeah, you can. Look what happened to my arm. Do you see that? She got my blood vessel. So I sent that to the dentist lady. I said, I got my results back. And I said, and also she busted a blood vessel in my arm. That didn't hurt. It's just, it bothered. So it was kind of hurting a little bit when I got home. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, you know, like that it's hurting like now. Usually if anything, it hurts when you get it done. But one lady did that when I was having surgery, and she busted my blood vessel when she was putting the needle in, and I came off that bed like exorcist style. Like I screamed. I don't even remember what I yelled, but she started crying. I felt so bad for her. I was like, you're the best nurse. I'm so sorry. But I mean, like, it was bad. So then the anesthesiologist, he's like, I got this. And he helped me out. So it's always a hit or miss with me. Like in my hand. That's like, and everyone hates getting blood drawn from their hand. I heard like it hurts. It's supposed to hurt the worst. That's where you can find my veins. That's where they are. Just go there. But I didn't think to tell her. I usually tell people, but I was at a different hospital and normally people just know me. when I go to Ohio State. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You need to go camp out. I know I should be there. It's a far drive. It's like 3.5 hours. I do need to go though. Closing arguments would be fun. Nancy's there. Could you imagine if I I would have her up. If I had my Nancy cardboard cutout when we were standing in line together, camp out. I had Nancy all dressed for winter. If you leave now, you go stand in line. I could get Vincent on that boat. Be like, hey Vincent, let's go to Indiana. I wouldn't mind going. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't mind going. That's why I was so mad with Chad Doerman when he took that deal. Because I was so ready to go to his trial. It was an hour and 15 minutes for me. I'm like, that would have been so easy to go to. That's nothing, Where Nancy could hold my spot. That would be hilarious if I did that. I think if she was there, she would find that hilarious. I am gonna get just a stick with her head on it and go to CrimeCon and just walk around with it until I find her because I'm gonna meet her. I'm gonna meet her. It's a thing that it's not for me. I don't want to meet her for me per se. I want to meet her for my dad, and I want to meet her for my mom. But I really want to meet her for my dad because he loved Nancy. He'd be loving some Nancy. I grew up listening to her, so when she's yelling, it's natural to me. But I think that she really went through everything with the Delphi, that's going on that happened, with today's case. They basically, whenever the psychiatrist story, her saying that Richard Allen confessed, which if he did, then I mean, it's hard to say that he didn't do it if a clinical, a doctor's coming out saying it. I believe her, I trust her, but I wish I could hear her and look at her because that says a lot. That does a lot. When you can actually look at somebody, you can tell if they're lying. You can tell if they're faking it. I mean, you get the vibes, which the jury's there. So that's the only people that really need to get the vibes. But I would like to know. Maybe we'll find out more. Maybe we'll find out more when the trial is over. Maybe Judge Gall will have it in her heart to freaking release some stuff. Maybe they're filming in there right now. Maybe they're filming for the court, but they're not I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky, something like that. Probably not, but I'm trying. I wish. I know I need to go somewhere where we can all meet. Even if when I go to California or something. We haven't been out there in a while. Oh, wow. That's not cool, no. Watching Gray Hughes. Why would she do that? Wanted she trying to get closer to him? I loved you since she said top mom. That's so funny. Oh man, I remember watching the Scott Peterson, OJ. I mean, my dad was a true crime fanatic, and I didn't even realize it until recently when I look back. I'm like, wait a minute here. That's where I get it from. But I mean, I'm so into true crime. I love everything about it. I like the suspense of I like the the conclusions when we have get a conclusion. I like to deep dive. I like to do timelines. I want to do more visual things for you guys. I want to bump something up. I need to do something to elevate us over here. And I really want to do some sort of more visuals or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then we have the second channel. That second channel is growing and it is so amazing. I am so proud of that little channel. That little channel that could. But if you're not a member, or not a member, sorry, a subscriber. I was looking at the Nightbot. If you're not a subscriber over there, you should become a subscriber. If you're not a member, you should become a member too. Both of them. OJ was crazy. Do you remember that? Like they were, oh my gosh, like people pulled up with like all the food trucks and everything. People were there for it. I haven't seen anything like it. I think that we're going to get a similar vibe maybe when Kohlberger goes to trial, which there has been a huge document dump. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read like through it, and then I'm going to give you guys like a summary if it's even worth it. I'll let you know what's going on at least, but I'll give you a summary because it might just be nothing, and it might, I might just bore you to death if I read them all to you. But if there's something good in there, I want to make sure that we get that. And I was looking earlier, and it was just like, they're trying to get the death penalty kicked off. They're trying to get like all these aggravating like factors and stuff. So I think that's what it is. My dad recorded it, and we couldn't watch no damn TV because he was recording OJ the whole day. He was like, OJ's on. OJ. I must have had my own TV though, right? I did. I had my own TV. So I guess I just wanted to watch in the living room. Back when I was cleaning houses, and as soon as I arrived, I turned on the TV. Man, OJ, that was a long time ago. I was little. I was 9, I think, or 10. Oh, really? I haven't really got into Soto since all of it's just so much. It's like so deep. Like that little girl went through way too much. And the Idaho victims also. Oh yeah. CJK. Okay. So what's going to happen with Idaho, I think, is everyone is going to like, it's kind of hushy right now, people, there are creators out there that still go on about it, like Harsh Reality. You have people that do it every single day. Just that's what they cover. But for the most part, we don't have a whole lot of channels talking about it like we used to, right? People aren't getting thousands of people in their chats on an Idaho case. But I guarantee once we start to get closer to that trial date, we're going to have all these people coming out saying that Kohlberger's innocent. Kohlberger's innocent. That's going to be the new thing. And people are going to look at them like, well, what do you mean? And they're just going to say corruption, and he's innocent. Watch. It's every case. It won't happen in the Soto case. They'll want to throw it. They'll want, they'll want to throw the key at him. Stefan is just, he should just plead guilty to everything and just go sit in his cell for the rest of his damn life. I mean, really, that's what he should do. But, I heard there was a call too. Yeah, I heard there was. I don't know who had it though. Days of Our Lives. My mom used to watch that. Yeah, at least there's a bit of DNA in that case. See, that case makes me a little more relaxed too. I mean, and the phone, I think the telesomatics, I think the cameras are what's going to do them in. Because that university has a lot of cameras. Both universities, right? Oh, thank you, Ladybug. That's so sweet. He was asking for money from them. Yeah, that's all he's going to ask for. He's going to say he found God and he wants money. Found God, wants money. Has he said that yet? Found God, wants money? That's really what they usually say. And they say they found God so they can get out of their cell a little bit more. Like they can get out like 2 more times a week to go talk to, priest, rabbi, whatever, their religion is. I mean, I would. I'm a spiritual folk though, you know what I mean? But I'd be like, get me out of here for an hour a week, an extra hour, extra 2 hours. I'll have to watch Jay's video. Everyone's been doing so many videos and I feel like I haven't seen them. But I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. I'm going to be posting the rest of the podcast. So make sure you please go watch them for me. I'm going to try to push out a lot of content this month because I really need the extra funds because, I want to buy a bunch of stuff for Vincent for his birthday. Basically, that's what it is because he's so sweet to me. So I'm going to put out some more pre-recordeds and short videos. And then second channel, of course, we'll do stuff over there. I feel like Choco with that case that it's just kind of like doing it again to her, It's just like keeping it out. I don't know. I just wish we could make up a video of all the good things about Maddie and put that out, So when people search Maddie Soto, they don't see. Maybe we should do that as creators, I mean, maybe when a case is over, maybe we should delete. I don't delete because I'm not really ashamed of what I say, but like these things, I mean, they can hurt people later on. They go to Google something, just like in Mamta Caffel-Bat's case, the woman that's missing that is presumed dead and her husband is in jail for it. Her baby got carried out in a yellow blanket over their head. And I told you that little baby is going to be forever known as the baby carried with the yellow blanket. Because when you are going to look up her name, that's what's going to pop up. I mean, it's cute because it's like, officers holding a baby. And I think I love that when they do that. But it's her mom is, not there. And they're wondering where she's at that point. So. Really, Shauna? Might have to meet up. You'll be near my neck of the woods. Oh, yeah, Nash. It's drama. Yeah. We went over Nick the Hat's little dealings yesterday because I figured if he's going to, go after people and dox them, well, let's hear about his background. So I'm probably going to be on next on his crap list. Speaking of which, let's go see if I'm already on his crap list. Let's see if I'm like blocked or something. Oh, no, I'm not blocked. Okay. That's cool. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. So I'm not going to make another account to, follow you. Just the same thing from yesterday. I really want to go to that private dinner with Dog. Me and Dog. Private dinner, one-on-one. We could talk about the case. Mm-hmm. And thank you guys all for being here tonight. I do appreciate it so much. I really do. I think that's all I have for you. It's been a good life. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. That website, WTHR, I believe it is a good website. I was just looking at some stuff on it. It gives you a lot of the background of the case, and it gives you everyday coverage. I know that there's other creators that are covering this case really well too, and I guess there's some that are not. Now, if you're out there saying that Kelsey had anything to do with this, you need serious help. If that's disgusting, that's hurtful, that's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, he is eerie. You're welcome. I try. It's just it would be too hard to be someone else. But I love being me, I love being me. A lottery ticket form out to allow people in WoW, Rocky. I remember Jody Aries. Man. all because he was going to break up with her. Wow. It's crazy. Well, I'll be back on tomorrow during the day. I think I'm going to do a video on the second channel. I don't know what it's going to be about. Oh, we're going to air our grievances, I think. Air our grievances tomorrow. If you want to come up on panel, you can come up on the panel and air your grievances about all the stuff that's going on the YouTube streets. Because I don't know what the hell is going on, but we got people fighting over nothing just for content. And everybody's fighting with everybody. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I don't fight with anybody. I just don't. It's too messy, you know? Plus I'm too old. I mean, if you're out here and you're in your late 30s, 40s, and you're calling people bullies and you're saying you're getting bullied online, but you won't log offline, that's a you problem. That's not your bully's problem. Putting that in parentheses. It's a you problem. Everybody just has to know when to log off. So I'm going to jump off of here, but I appreciate you guys being here tonight. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Lock your doors, lock your windows. Make sure your pets and animals are all inside with you. And, oh my gosh, the way in the same way. I don't think I could show you guys. No, because my thing's up. See if I can remove it. It won't let me. Oh, they're like laying like right there too. They look so cute. The babies, Araya and Mia. But thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening, guys. And don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, or spiders will be in your bed tonight. For real. Bye, guys.